So the FlyByWire A380 project is just round the corner from being in our hangars, so stick around as we go into further detail of this mammoth of a project. Welcome aboard Flight Simmers, my name is Rowan and welcome back to another Information Alpha video. Before we start, I just want to kindly ask you if you could click on that like button, subscribe and also ding on that notification bell, because it does help support our channel a tremendous amount. So on the 22nd of October, we were given our first NOTAM from FlyByWire on their A380X project, which has been long awaited. But before we go into detail, I think it's necessary to say that FlyByWire is a freeware developer, so before anyone goes attacking them on the pacing of this project, do remember that everyone who participates in developing these projects are all volunteers and not working full time, which of course slows down development overall. Firstly, let's start on the expectations of the end users, or in terms, the customers. So FlyByWire will be releasing a developer preview, which is essentially an alpha stage release, meaning that the project is not complete but it is good enough to be usable. However, with the timing of the new simulator, I think this is appropriate to give us some form of a product before we start moving over to MSFS 2024. Now, with it being an alpha, this doesn't mean that it is a bad product. They in fact state that the 380 is ready and capable of an A to B flight on VATSIM, which is brilliant news, as it means that most of us can use it to its full potential from day one. They say that it will be similar to the previous release structure of their legendary A380X project, which, as we all know, carried us through the release of MSFS 2020 for well over a year. So we should expect to see consistent updates, bringing us more features as time develops. About performance of the project, they say that it is roughly 25% lower than their existing A380X project, which is a lot better than what I was expecting, considering how well optimized that project already is. We do have a spec sheet which I will have on screen right now, so you can figure out what kind of performance you should be getting compared to your system. Moving on, let's talk about the features and capabilities. So starting off, we have the flight management and navigation systems. The 380 will have a fully custom FMS, or flight management system, based off of the updated FMS V2 implementation. It will be all ARINC44 leg types, which is essentially the industry standard for navigation in the aviation world. This will include all procedures, robust sequencing of waypoints, and also holds. Now we will move on to the flight displays and electronic checklists. From what we've seen so far, the modelling and the systems being displayed look exceptional. The representation of the PFD and the ND are accurate, so they say, along with the engine and warning display and system displays, featuring precise memos and numerous systems. There will be an electronic checklist for both normal and abnormal procedures, along with a QNH pre-selection, which is a lovely feature on the 380. Next up, we will look at the core aircraft systems and failure simulations. So the systems including the electrical, pneumatic, environmental, like the air conditioning, ventilation, pressurization, and then the APU and the fire protection systems are all fully modelled, including all of their inner components like the logic, the communication protocols and so on. Over 140 failures are available via the EFB, which is also great to hear. So it seems like the system depth is going to be very in-depth, which is great news for us, considering, as we mentioned before, this is a freeware project. Now let's move on to the flight control surfaces and also the Wingflex simulations. So the flap load relief systems and auto extending timings and retractions have been accurately modelled with hydraulic and electrical actuation with the flight control surfaces, though the flaps and slaps are still to be completed. We then have the triple aileron simulation on each wing, which creates a valse de ailerons, which is like a little dance, as you will see when the aircraft releases. Additionally, a custom physics-based flex system for the wings, rudder and elevator has also been implemented. The wings simulated as soft bodies and are responsive to dynamic wing flex. Next up, we have the protection features and enhanced awareness systems, which overall increase the integrity of the aircraft. The first system is brake to vacate. This system plays a crucial role to slow down the aircraft to a safe speed in order to exit the runway at a pre-designated taxiway. This is one of the systems we are yet to see working in the simulator, so it's going to be very exciting when we see this firsthand. Then we have the runway overrun warning and runway overrun protection systems. These systems minimize the risk of any A380 from overrunning the runway, as it is a very heavy aircraft with its momentum. The RO and ROP are available as soon as the auto brake mode is armed and can be used independently from the BTV or brake to vacate. We also have an onboard airport navigation system, or OANS, which is essentially a moving map on the navigational display, which enhances the flight crew situational awareness by displaying a moving map of the airport which you are located at. So let's move on to the undercarriage. So the A380 does have a tilting landing gear with a realistic nose wheel steering and body wheel steering. This includes high detailed modelling and textures, powered by 5000 psi hydraulic lines, valves and actuators which are fully and realistically simulated, which is very interesting to say the least. They've also implemented HCF, which assists taxi operations by countering any crosswind or ground slope without any pilot input. So many of you are wondering how you will control the throttles given a lot of people do not own a 4-axis throttle quadrant. Well, they haven't forgotten about you all. With a newly developed FlyPad V3 for the A380X, this comes with features such as throttle calibration for 4, 2 and also 1 throttle hardware configurations. They also have different payload weight and balance pages for the different levels and also different class configurations such as the economy, premium, business and first class. Thankfully, support for default ground services will be included, especially preliminary support for GSX, hopefully on the initial release if not soon after. Moving on, we will take a look at what the FlyByWire team discussed about the textures and modelling about the A380 project. So they stated that their modelling and texture team have invested thousands upon hours into crafting an experience that feels as realistic as possible from both inside and outside the flight deck. One of their team members, Mike, is in charge of texturing with the photorealism. He has leveraged actual photos at the base texture and associated roughness maps using clever techniques learned over time from experimentation within the simulator and how it looks in the sim versus real life. These insane textures are a result of Mike's experience in real life flying, as well as a constant positive feedback by the FlyByWire modelling team. Just taking a look at these photos in closer detail shows how much time and effort has gone into this project. As mentioned before, the 380 is rated to be capable for point A to B flights on that sim, but the development team would like to point out that much like in the past with the 380 development process, some systems may not be operable from the start. A full list of inoperable systems will be available in a full documentation publication at a later time, which we will cover when it is released. There will also be tutorials and documentation to further assist users in the flying experience. This beginner's guide will be released alongside the aircraft when it is available. The people creating this documentation are in real life type rated pilots on the 380 to ensure that every stage which is covered within the 380 is accurate. The team from FlyByWire also made a comment regarding Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and the cross compatibility, as I'll read now. We know many are eagerly awaiting for the release of MSFS 2024. It is important to note that a 2024 specific version of the A380X will not immediately launch with it. It has been revealed that MSFS 2024 does include built-in backwards compatibility with MSFS 2020, and while the 2020 version of the A380X may be loaded in the new simulator on day one, we cannot guarantee that the functionality in MSFS 2020 will translate to 2024. So from that, just like all the other developers are saying at the moment, the project should work, however they cannot guarantee that it will function as intended, as we are still unsure how the compatibility still actually works. So that wraps up the FlyByWire A380X development NOTAM. There was a lot of information to digest, and we hope that this video did help you. We are so excited to see that the A380 is nearing release, so let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and also what your first flight you intend to make. For me, I'm probably going to do Heathrow to Dubai, flying the Emirates livery, but I'm very eager to know what your first flight will be. If you did enjoy today's video, then make sure you do hit on that like, subscribe and ding dong that little notification bell. It not only helps support the channel, but it also helps you stay up to date with the latest Information Alpha content. We also have a Discord server where you could join and discuss all things related to aviation. All of the links are below in the description, including our Instagram and TikTok, which we are now posting more frequently on. But that's it for today's video. My name is Rowan and you've been watching Information Alpha. See ya!